Yes. Mhm.
Oh, listen, I know we're meeting tomorrow at 1:30.
Yes.
Would you be able to come a little earlier? Just someone canceled. So can you make it for 10:30?
Is that on Zoom or the Dawn Mills location?
No, you're going to meet with me on Zoom.
Oh, okay. That's fine. 10 a.m.?
10 a.m. is good. Yeah, we can do 10, right?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to put you in for 10.
Oh, would I use the same Zoom link?
Yes, you are. Yep. I guess I should tell everyone that we're not going to Don Mills. We're not. Can you believe I'm in Niagara and I'm going to all the way to Don Mills?
Wow. Oh, you're Niagara. That's far.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we'll meet at 10 tomorrow instead. Perfect for me. Works out perfect.
Okay.
The cancellation. I'm so impressed. You guys are back right on time. That's awesome. Is everyone back in class or we're still having lunch?
I'm back.
I'm back.
Okay, so Omalar, are you back in class as well?
Laura is not.
Not as yet. So we are going to look at the diversity presentation now. And I'm going to get you guys involved in this because we're all in that melting pot of diversity. So your feedback is really important to the class, okay? So please, participate as we normally do. I want to thank you all for participating in the class. You have been a trooper. I've had groups that don't really participate, and it can be tough. But you guys have been a trooper in doing that. So what is when we say the word diversity, what does it mean to you?
The differences of people.
Difference in people?
Like ethnicity, religion, languages.
Right.
Cultures.
Cultures, right. Race, cultural backgrounds. What about lifestyles? Yeah? And their experience and their interest. Right? So, say, for instance, in Israel, right? What is it that they celebrate in Israel as holiday? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So in Israel, what is it that they celebrate? Yom Kippur, right? They're and so what do you think here? Do we celebrate that here as well? Is it widely celebrated?
No.
No, it's not. Only amongst the Jewish community you'll find that they celebrate that. So that is your understanding of diversity. Can someone else give me another definition of diversity and what it means to you?
And diversity means different cultures, languages, mode of dressing, food, clothing, the way they dress, what kind of food they eat, different kind of dishes.
Right.
And values.
And thank you. I was looking for that one.
Thank
the
you.
Values and beliefs.
Yes.
Of others that are that's not like North American that come here. In North America, we kind of have the same, especially if you are born here, the same set of beliefs and values, and your culture is pretty much the same. But when you come from a different country, it is so different. The variety is so vast. So thank you. Anyone else has anything else to add to that? How about expression? How people express themselves? Is that would be a diverse thing?
Express how, as in, wouldn't some of that fall under like fashion or style as well, or?
Yes.
Or do you mean like the way that they speak versus the way that they
language?
Yeah.
For instance, in certain countries, people speak with their hands, expressing themselves with their hands a lot. In India, that is done a lot. They shake their head. Am I correct? Is that anyone is from India? No. Pakistan? No? Okay. Mm-hmm. So I can tell you from those two countries, they kind of do their head shake when they're talking, right? How they express themselves, they talk with their hands. In India, also, different cultures, they don't accept gifts with their left hand. It has to be with their right hand. And some people get offended, like if you're receiving a gift from a person who is from India who believes in their culture a lot, and
even in Nigeria,
their left hand, it's
even in Africa.
It's like
we don't accept left hand in Africa too.
Oh, in your country too?
Yeah, in Africa we don't accept left hand gifts. Somebody wants to give you something, you use your left hand, is wrong. We don't accept.
Sri Lanka.
In your country too?
Yeah.
Okay. So different ways of behaviors, different ways of cultures. So anyone else would like to add to that, or we can move on? I have it here on my phone. I was looking. How about, it says here, diversity means having a range of people with various racial, ethnic, socioeconomic, and cultural backgrounds and various lifestyles, experiences, and interest. Have a variety of individuals and points of view represented in a workplace. So diversity means that also in the workplace, when they're addressing an issue, they would get input from people from, in a diverse setting. So it is different, and it also helps the company to grow because they're getting people, with different experience coming in and partaking in the organization and helping them to grow. So nowadays, I can tell you this, companies, organizations today are welcoming individuals from different parts of the world because they bring in different ideas. They bring in different ideas, different way to do things, different ways to grow and be successful, different ways to make profit. And so companies are looking at individuals, not just Canadians, but people that are coming into the country who can bring in those different ideas for them to what is the word I'm looking for, to be involved in the organization. There is one company for sure that I know that does that, is BDO. Have you ever heard of them?
What's the name? BDO?
BDO is one of the three largest accounting firms. And a lot of their employees are different walks of life. And they tend to go out and sort these individuals coming into the country. So that's a very diverse country. Diverse organization. Okay, so diversity is otherness and human qualities that are different from your own and outside of the group to which we belong, yet are present in other individuals in groups. So there are two, there's a wheel of diversity. And so we have the outer wheel and we have the inner wheel. We call it the primary and secondary dimensions of diversity. We're going to have a look at this, okay? So the primary wheel is, the primary dimension is, it covers the person's age, where they're from, their physical abilities, their qualities, race, and sexual orientation. And then we have the inner dimension, which is, or the secondary dimension, which includes educational background, geographic location, how much money they make, the marital status, parental status, religion, beliefs, and work experience. So let us have a look at that wheel. Okay, so would you say that when you meet someone for the first time, this is work related, okay? I just want to bring it into the workplace. Would you know about working with that individual? Would you know about any of these things by just, meeting the person for the first time or knowing them within a week?
Not really.
No. So diversity is the person's background, working style, the education, and all of that. And then we have the inner wheel, which is the very personal wheel, is the person's age, sexual orientation, the gender, the origin, and physical abilities, and of course the race, where they're from. Are they Indian, or they're African, or they Middle Eastern, Muslim. So we'll get, and then the dimensions of diversity is not just looking at a person and assuming. It's all of these come together. Make sense? No, not really. No.
Yes.
Let's go on. Okay. So the inclusion wheel is, when you work with someone, you are going to find out about the outer wheel, which is this wheel. When you're in the workplace, you are going to learn about the person's this way, their work background, their work style, education, parental status, and all of these things. You are going to know about that person. Okay? And you learn these things about an individual by communicating with them, observing them, and including them in your everyday activities. If you in the workplace and you're meeting someone for the first time, are you going to ask, "Are you married?" Would that be an appropriate question?
No, it's not appropriate.
No.
Will get offended.
So over a period of time, you will learn those things about that individual. And how are you going to do that?
As time goes on, you will know.
Yeah,
When you
they will
interact
even
with the
share
person.
by themselves, like,
By developing friendship,
yeah.
being a co-worker, being social, right? If I'm in a meeting, I won't know your age. I won't know if you're married. But if I go out with you for coffee or tea, then I'm going to find out, oh, by the way, we'll talk about family life. Oh, I have 2 kids. Oh, yeah. And I'm married. So you get to know the person a little bit more. So it says here, when we meet someone, we draw conclusions and characteristics included in the inner wheel. So like what we did this morning, we did that, impressions. We did their age, the gender, the race, and all of that. But do we really know a person based on these things? Like the activity we did this morning, we didn't know anything about Leo. We didn't know. Okay, so we just cannot assume. That's what this is all about. We cannot assume. We need to know, develop friendship, relationships, get to know the person to understand the individual. So the more you learn about your co-workers, and the more comfortable you can make them feel in an organization. So here we go. The inner wheel includes traditional groups seen as representative in the diversity. However, the items in the inner wheels are also associated with diversity. Okay, so didn't quite get that part. So the items in the inner circle can have an impact on the working relationships that are formed. What do you think about that one? Let's go back to the wheel. The inner circle. This part here. Alrighty, the inner wheel of a circle. So the diversity is also associated with the inner and outer wheel. That's what she's trying to say here. The items in the outer circle can have an impact on the working relationships that are formed. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so some of the characteristics of diversity is the thinking style. How a person thinks will be the outcome of how effective they are with working relationships. Do you believe in that?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. A person who is result-driven handles working relationships differently than someone who is task-driven. What's the difference between result-driven and task-driven?
Results-driven is good because they know the end result. Like they are doing something to get the results. But task-driven, they are not putting so much thinking into it, I think.
So a task-driven person wants to complete a task on time and done, right?
Yeah.
Result-driven person wants to work towards getting the result, not necessarily completing every single task, but they want to get that result. So there's a big difference in their thinking style. Their work style, however, okay, so it says here, an example of a different working style is a person who is very organized and addresses issue in an ABC order versus a person who is able to jump from A to C to B. There you go. Okay, and we need to be able to understand the characteristics in the outer wheel, even though not as apparent, are just as important as understanding and relating to the characteristics in the inner wheel. Alrighty, so understand that. So all this is saying in a nutshell really is that diversity includes the way people think. We think differently because we're coming in with different experiences, different life experiences, different work experiences. And so we have to be acceptable and respectful of the way people think, their working styles, and work alongside with them to understand, what is it they're trying to achieve. Not just to jump into conclusion and say, hey, this is how we do it here in Canada, and this is the way you need to follow, and your way is the wrong way. In a nutshell, this is what these two things are saying. Okay, so we cannot just jump and say it's the wrong thing to do. We need to be accepting, and understanding that where they're coming from, it is done this way, and it could be beneficial to us in the workplace. Okay, so be accepting. That's what it is. It's really be accepting and showing respect. Okay, let's look at the next slide. Okay, this one is saying, which of the elements of diversity plays out in the workplace? It's supposed to be plays out. How and why? So diversity plays out in the workplace through communication styles, the way the person works, their working habit, the way they relate to a member of the opposite sex, level of formality, views on leadership, experience in working in teams. For those of us who have worked in an office environment, do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I totally agree with these. And let's see if she has a slide here that elaborates on it. Sorry? How do we make diversity work for us? Don't make assumptions. Different is not necessarily wrong. We should always listen and observe. Pay attention, make eye contact. Even if the person's language is is not communicating well in English, English is not their mother tongue, we should give that person our utmost time and attention and listen to what they have to say. So stop what you're doing sometimes and just listen to what they have to say. Observe their nonverbal cues, their facial gesture, their hand movements, their eye movements. Be observant as how they communicate. Be curious, and we all are, but especially when you meet someone for the very first time, be curious and ask questions. Discuss differences when other team members are also comfortable discussing them. Use the I, not the critical you. So if you are addressing someone, instead of saying, oh, by the way, do you do that? Reprimanding someone, you are correcting someone in the workplace. You may not want to say, you should do it this way. You should really say, this is how I do it and it works for me. Right? You have to leave out the you, the I thing, and do the inclusion of the I. You're doing it incorrectly, and that person may take offense because you're really attacking them. They may think that you're attacking them, but if you say, I usually do it this way, it works for me, there's a big difference in the communication style. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Agree.
Agree. Okay. Let's move on. Some advice. Listen to conversations and learn about topics such as sports, houses, jobs, and cars so that you can join in conversation. Okay, so communication again. We're talking about communication. Join your colleagues for a drink. We talked about this. Occasionally, if you don't have a drink, you don't have to drink alcohol all the time. You can have a soda. Give people the chance to get to know you. So don't close up. Be open-minded, open stance. Invite people in by the way, you look approachable, your facial expression. So be inviting to individuals, always. So you make yourself approachable. In the workplace, some people are all close the door. Don't come near me. Don't want to be around you. That doesn't really work well in a diverse situation in the workplace. People love teaching. Ask what different slang expressions mean. And I do that a lot of times. Like I'll hear a slang and I'll ask, so what does that mean? So that is what we call inclusion. You're including the person to be a part of that environment. Okay? You are maybe a manager or just a worker. It doesn't matter. Make sure that you're inclusive. You include others. And we have some people here hierarchy. I don't know if you guys heard of that, where there is a corporate ladder, and in the workplace, everyone try to attain to get to the very top of that corporate ladder. And when they reach there, they get snobbish. They get as if, you cannot, you must address me by my last name, all of that. That was once upon a time, that what is used to be. Today, in today's world of work, it is not like that. Most people are called by their first names, right? To be what? Be inclusive, inclusion. We're talking about when you include people in your lives, in your work life, you make them feel comfortable, you get to know them, and you share ideas and share a lot of other things. So that's inclusion, and that's part of diversity that's been in this huge Canadian space, world, Canada, where we're so much diverse. Accept your new way of life when people will accept and appreciate yours. So, okay, we know about that. Accept your new way of life. Living in Canada where there's a lot of snow. Coming from somewhere warm where there's no snow. Okay. Appreciate what what I guess Toronto has to offer, Canada has to offer. Be a team player from the beginning, even during formal training. So offer your assistance, offer to help. Become a team. Do you know what a team player is?
Work together.
Work together, share ideas, right? And what? And give glory. Give glory when the person achieves something.
Appreciation.
Appreciation, yeah, same thing. Give glory, appreciation, always. Okay. Canada is a multicultural society, but if you push your own values too much, people can misunderstand you. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely so. Okay. I know Ash is Ash, you're from here, am I correct?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, you're with us. Okay. Join in celebrations, and that is what it is. Appreciation, give glory. You're great. Great effort. Always compliment someone. Always. Final thoughts. Okay. I'm thinking. Okay, let's move on. So if the world were 100 people, of 60 Asians, 15 Africans, and all the others. So this is diversity. This is what they're talking about. So you have Africans, Asians, Europeans. We have male, North Americans. We have female, male, Christian, Muslim, Hindus, Buddhist, unaffiliated. Those can read, so those cannot read. Some people make $2 to $10 per day. One person controls 50% of the money. 23 people are homeless. 7 attended college. 93 did not attend college. Would you say that this is diversity?
Yes, this is diverse.
Yeah. Well, you're just looking at that. So if you know somebody who cannot read, how would you help that person?
How would we help that person?
How would you approach that person? Inclusion.
Yeah, nothing different, the same way.
Don't treat them indifferently. No, do not treat. Yeah, you treat them the same way. So true. Very, very true. Treat them the same way. Never different. I watched this video, and I'm going to put it in your box so you can watch it. It was not. What should I say? Educational enough for me. It was just showing people the same thing: the Asians, the Africans, the Indians, people making $2, people making $10. It's just a video. So I'll send a link to you, okay? You can watch it on your own. So what will you do to adapt and survive in the workplace?
Nothing. You don't have to do it. Just do what they ask you to do, and that's it.
I mean, yeah, kind of. As long as you're at least somewhat mindful of office culture and stuff like that.
Okay. You brought up the word culture, workplace culture. And that is a big part of it. So it is saying here on this slide is that we all hear the same sounds. We look and see the same sky. We cry the same tears. Our feelings and emotions are the same. All mothers are sisters. All fathers are brothers. And all children are one. So well said. You agree?
Yes.
However, there is hate, there's violence, intolerance, there's confusion among people. We don't try hard enough to understand each other. We don't seem to realize that we all have the same basic needs, no matter who you are, no matter who we are or what part of the world we come from. We are the same. We are human beings. We're all the same. We must understand the difference among us and celebrate the sameness. We must take the world a place where love and friendship dominates our hearts. Equality, respect, compassion, and kindness must guide our actions. Only then will we will be able to be peacefully and lovingly live the life we each choose. And this is written by Susan Polis. Okay. Alrighty, so let's look at another one. This is more of a listening thing. Okay, before you complete your diversity activity, I'm going to take you through a workshop that's workplace culture. Okay, what time is it? I have 30 minutes to do that. So what do you think about the presentation about diversity? Is there any takeaway?
Yeah, accept everyone.
Acceptance, inclusion, treat people with
Work
respect.
together.
I'm sorry, missed that. Say that again, please. Mofi?
To work together.
Work together to accomplish the common goal. Yes. Don't assume, right? Don't assume. Don't make assumptions, right? You could be so wrong. Get to know people. Understand that the outer wheel is you will know more, but the inner wheel is only exposed when you develop friendships or become close with a coworker. Okay? So you won't know those things until you really get to know the person, and you won't get to know the person until you've try to develop that friendship. Alrighty? Okay, so let's look at, thank you for sharing. Let's look at the other one that is a little bit different. It's about workplace culture. And I think Ash brought up about culture, right, Ash?
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Okay, let's see if I can find this workplace culture. Canadian workplace work culture. Okay. This is to give you an insight about organization and how they operate from, a workplace perspective. Okay. So what is workplace culture? It is what makes your organization unique, and it is the sum of its values, traditions, beliefs, interactions, behaviors, and attitudes.
We don't see the slide.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I should stop sharing that one and share this one. Oops. Thank you for telling me that. Stop sharing. Share this one. Okay, so Omalara, can you read that for me? Okay, she disappeared. How about Telban, can you read that for me?
Okay. What is workplace culture? It's what makes your organization unique and is the sum of its values, traditions, beliefs, interactions, behaviors, and attitudes.
You get that, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. Okay, so here they did a census of the different the population in Brampton, and I know you guys are in Toronto, but when we developed this, it was in the West End. So in Brampton, 62% people speak English, Punjabi 13%, Urdu 1.9, Marathi 4, Tamil, Spanish, and so forth. So can you see that Brampton is a melting pot of cultures?
Yeah, it's multicultural.
Yep, it's really multicultural, very much so. And then we did one for Mississauga, which is non-official languages, 26%, Chinese 4%, and so it's a mixture of French and English right here, by the way, just to let you know.
Mm-hmm.
A mixture of French and English there. Oh, sorry. And Tamil 1.1%, and let me see. And Vietnamese, we have Vietnamese 1%. So again, the west end of the city is I'm sure Toronto and Scarborough, North York, Vaughan are so much multicultural as well. So in a workplace, a work ethic is a code that governs expectation of social behavior in the workplace. You have to behave when dealing with situations in a working environment. Office etiquette applies to co-worker interaction and communication with colleagues. Okay? So what that's saying is that there are certain behaviors in a workplace. So what is workplace culture? I forgot to ask this question. Ash?
Workplace culture is just kind of the general environment of the work. It's the things that develop between the co-workers, your bosses, that kind of thing. It's sort of, this is a really bad way of describing it, but it's almost like the personality of the workplace.
Very good. Yeah, it's what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Thank you for that. Is a workplace personality. I've never heard you say that way, but I'm going to take that one with me. It is well said. It is what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in a particular organization. That's exactly what it is. Great. Okay, so let's move on. So work ethic is a code that governs the expectation of social behavior in the workplace. So how to behave when dealing with situations in a working environment. Office etiquette applies to co-worker interaction and communication with colleagues. That is a part of a workplace culture. So how to behave when dealing with situations in a working environment. Office etiquette applies to co-workers' interactions and communications with colleagues. That's all about workplace culture. So proper etiquette. So proper etiquette in the workplace is no matter where you go in the world, there is a proper way of doing things. Becoming knowledgeable in the country's silent language is an etiquette of essential of developing good business relationships. So, prepare yourself to do business with people from other cultures and represent yourself in the best possible manner. Okay? That is what workplace culture is. Their culture is that you need to understand that people are coming in from different walks of life, and you need to be able to represent the country and yourself, the company and yourself in the best possible manner. So we're going to look at some of the areas in the workplace culture: personal space, body language and gesture, honesty, integrity, dress code, hygiene, effective communication, and sense of humor. So let's look at some of the things. This is a Canadian workplace culture, by the way, North American. Personal space. Back up, you're in my personal space. Maybe you're from a country where the person comes right up in your face and speak to you. In Canada, here in North America, that is not good. You can't do that. There is an invisible zone of comfort when we carry with us in the region surrounding each person. It is the bubble space that you keep between you and the person standing in front of you. So, when you're communicating with someone in the workplace, you cannot be right in front of their face. How much personal space you need varies depending on who you are, of who we are, and who we are talking to, and the situation we're in. So there's a bubble. Okay, personal space resolved. Give people more space. Being too far is not as damaging as being too near. Canadians generally prefer to stand about 2 arms length apart. You agree? In the workplace?
Yes.
Yeah.
Others may like more or less distance. If your counterpart reacts startled as you get closer, you are probably too close. So back up. Okay, give them some space. If someone is standing too close to you, you can move back slowly, or even tell the person you are uncomfortable conversing so closely. Has that ever happened to you? You're talking to someone, the person is right in your face?
Yeah.
And what do?
I just step back.
And if the person keeps coming forward?
I let them know I feel uncomfortable.
Okay, this has happened to me quite a bit of times. The person's trying, no matter how much I move back, the person is still walking up, and I have to say, hold up here. I just need some space, especially with COVID. I need some space. Okay, so don't be shy to say, you know what, can we have a little bit of space? So in the workplace, when you're communicating with someone, having a conversation, sharing information, you need to give that person space. You cannot be right up in their face. Okay? They say in Canada it's 2 arm lengths. So think of my arm is not very long, but I would say at least 4 to 5 feet away from the individual.
So someone new joiner.
Okay? Yeah. There is a video that we can watch. Let's see if I can grab this.